and welcome to FDT TV Podcast number 41, something like that.
We do keep on top of it.
Well, yeah, me and Mike here every week. As always, I look forward to it. But as always, we do have a little bit of news. This week this is one of the last podcasts you're potentially going to see where we are fat. We are a big fat cat. We're doing a fitness challenge again. I know we pulled out the last one. That was sort of my fault. I'll take blame for that. But yeah.
I think we can both take the blame for it because, yes, you had your injury, but at the same time, I didn't want to win by you not being able to compete. So I got lazy. We both got lazy. So
I wasn't lazy. I couldn't do anything. I'd just sit down and that's it. Oh, yes, but we are doing a fitness challenge 2.0. I'm still got a bit of neuropathy, which is nerve damage in my back, which is affecting my legs. So we've cut out the run part of it just to make it a little bit more fair because I can walk 2 miles now, but running it would be a struggle. So we're sticking with what? Burpees, push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. Yeah, videos coming soon. They'll explain it all. We have got a forfeit already figured out, which I think is better than anything that we could have done, and that is to be claimed as the fat presenter of the FDT TV podcast on all your social media handles for the next year. So even if the other person slacks off and does get fat again, whoever's lost has got to proclaim that title.
Do you know what? I think I'm actually really glad about this one, and I'm so glad that we haven't got a forfeit in the style of the last one, because I would much rather have my Twitter handle say that I am the fat presenter of, than having to wear a Spurs shirt.
I might, if you're lucky, I might buy you a Spurs shirt that says "Fatty" on the back or something.
Well, what would you rather have, FDT TV or Fatty? In fact, don't answer that question because I know exactly what you'd have.
Yeah, I'd rather have Fatty. It's fun, isn't it? Yeah, so we've got that to look forward to. It's because we're in another lockdown, and we've all got to look after ourselves. So if you do want to join in, then obviously join in. Let us know how you're getting on, what you're using as motivation, and yeah, hopefully we can all grow together in a more healthier way. But go on.
Sorry, I was just about to say, if there are people that want to join in with us, let us know. Give us some updates. Send us some. I would say pictures, but that might come across a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, send us your pictures. No, send us your updates then. Send us your updates if you want to get involved.
100%. But without any further ado, football.
Yes.
We have the final game of the FA Cup third round is being played tonight, and that is the Mighty Hammers taking on Stockport. A lot of Stockport fans have been very supportive, and a lot of West Ham fans have been very supportive of my latest video, so it's a big thumbs up for that. First video over 500 views for us, so that's good. We are growing, more people are subscribing, but only 1% of people are actually subscribed that are watching videos, so that's disappointing. Okay. It was disappointing. More of you need to be subscribed.
I agree.
So in that instance, before I do any exercise ever, I'm going to take a knee for the subscribers. I'm not really sure what the point of that is now anymore. I know they're saying kick it out is a thing. Yes, kick it out is a very good movement, and they do lots of good work. But the message has sort of been lost as to why people are taking a knee. It's just, it happens now at the beginning of the games. You may agree or disagree, I don't know. But have we got a goal of the week this week, Mike?
Well, yes and no. So I know we are a foot. I don't know why I was just about to say that. I know we are a football podcast. Unfortunately, this weekend has been absolutely mental, and I haven't had a chance to catch up with a lot of football. However, I am going to give this goal of the week anyway. This is the goal of the week.
Yep. Okay.
It's not quite as good as yours. I haven't got the harmonisation down.
Years of practice.
Yeah. But I am going to give this goal because I thought it was an outstanding team goal yet again. Should have, well, not should have, could have possibly have been sent off.
I know what you're going to say.
For VAR. Rightly so, that he was still on the pitch, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Emile Smith-Rowe. He's a player I know that you enjoy watching.
Yep.
And is a player that you've been lobbying for Arsenal to get involved in the team already this year. Again, you can check out previous podcasts just to prove that Ian is actually a supporter of the academy players within the Arsenal team, and what a difference he's made when he's come in. Great link-up play with Lacazette, and finished the goal immensely. We're in a bit of a pickle, needed a goal. Come on, change the game. Gosh, so Emile Smith-Rowe gets my goal of the week.
Yeah, I it was a good goal. He did make the difference. Was that in the FA Cup or was that in
FA Cup?
Which is odd that VAR saved him.
Yes,
because VAR isn't in the FA Cup until the semi-finals, as far as I'm aware, unless it's held in a Premier League stadium.
I was under the impression, in fact, no, I maybe completely get my wires crossed with the Carabao Cup, because I know it definitely was involved in our game against Man City in the Carabao Cup in the semi-finals, quarterfinals, semi-finals. But yeah, it was you, so it must be allowed if it's in a
Premier League stadium.
Premier League fixture.
Because that's the bit I did feel sorry for some of the lower league clubs who may have needed it, or it would have helped them out, is the fact that they can't use it because it's not actually in their stadiums. I mean, I know
Marina, they were definitely robbed yesterday by Spurs. So many decisions that should have gone against them.
It was
Spurs scoring a goal, for example, that should have been.
But that one where the bloke absolutely wellied it from on the line absolutely slayed me. That was good. The other thing though is they had a midfielder. I was saying to Jenna, this is the biggest game that some of these players will ever get to play in. And they had a midfielder, and I can't remember his name, but he struck it from about 35 yards out and hit the crossbar. And It was so close. And I said to Jet, him and the right back were the best players for Marine. And I think they're likely to be scouted for other teams, possibly a little bit higher up the league. Something else, Mason Mount scored a good goal. I liked his goal. It was a well-struck effort. It was against Morecambe, so it's sort of... Chelsea fans were going mad that they'd won and won convincingly. It's like, you was playing Morecambe. You should have won convincingly. You've just spent more money in one transfer window than they're ever going to spend in their entire history. You should be smashing them. The other one was actually a Crawley goal. Crawley's first goal against Leeds. The young guy, he got released by Tottenham. He suffered in a car crash and was pretty much written off as a player. And they said, no, it's not going to happen. He got it back into football with Crawley after recovering from his accident. Scored his first senior goal for Crawley against Leeds. But he went on a wonderful solo run, rouletted a couple of players and just hit it, and it went in, and it was brilliant. So, for me, that was a good goal as well. But I did enjoy it, Emile Smith-Rowe. As well as the 15 that West Ham are going to score tonight. Now, here's the thing, right? There's been a lot of Stockport fans who have wanted to engage in conversation as to saying about, obviously, the quality of the pitch and the style of play for Stockport. I don't watch Stockport every week. Some have been very negative in relation to a comment that I made about being kicked, and they're like, well, it's a fair play award. West Ham won a fair play award, then finished bottom of the fair play table the next season. But what I meant by that wasn't the fact that they're going to come out and have a game plan to kick us. But when you look at the quality of the two sides, we should have the majority possession of the ball and be running quickly at them. So there is going to be some fouls from Stockport. And as the game goes on, the fitness levels generally show in these games, at which point tired legs, tired minds, lead to fouls. That's a must in football. That happens. It's not saying your game plan is to kick us off the field, but that is generally what you see when your players are getting frustrated that they can't play the style of football they're used to playing. I know that from being a West Ham fan. When we play people who are worse than us, we play like when we do play the stopballs and whatnot. We play really wonderful football. When we play Man City, we do end up kicking them and fouling them just through the nature of the game. It wasn't meant in any discrepancy or any detrimental way. But some Stockport fans, much like a lot of football fans, don't want a discussion about it or to enter into some sort of conversation. They just want to tell you how wrong you are and that you're an idiot. So for those of you, you can suck my dick.
Joke on.
Yeah.
In the nicest possible way.
Exactly. But yeah, so I'm hoping for a competitive game and for some nice football to be played. It's going to be a heavily rotated squad. And we've got rid of Haller.
You have.
I don't know how his agent. I think he's got the same agent as the bloke who signed for. Was it Braithwaite who signed for Barcelona? Because he must have. Because how he's gone from like Middlesbrough to Barcelona, how Haller has gone from West Ham and the season he's having, and the effort that he's put into Ajax, playing in the Champions League. How does that work?
I've no idea.
Jesus.
Maybe he is part of it. You don't know. Maybe that's his agent.
And for us, and like the best bit about it, right, is I've been banging on about how bad Haller is. Board have tried to get out of paying instalments for him, which we still have some outstanding. But David Moyes come out and we didn't plan to actively sell him, but that offer was too good to turn down. So he obviously doesn't rate him. He's just got no other options at the club.
Yeah. Do you reckon that will be reinvested back into another? Because I did hear that you were after possibly Nketiah.
Yes. There's two that I think have actual grounds for going forward. One of them being Nketiah, and I think a loan with the option of a permanent would be the better option for both clubs with that. Because I know you're not actively trying to sell him. I don't think he's got the physical presence to do what we need him to do in the style of play that we play.
I agree.
I rate him as a player. I think he's a good finisher and he does put in some effort. But you leave him up top on his own, he's gonna get lost. The other one that people were hoping for was Josh King. That doesn't look like it's gonna happen. But in some senses, I'm quite glad because he's played in 8 games in all competitions, 8 games in the Championship this season, and hasn't scored a single goal. So you're buying then a player that they want 15 million for that isn't in form, that hasn't played football, and that's not currently scoring goals. So that makes it quite difficult. Looks like he's going to Everton. Abdullah Sima from Slavia Prague is where my money would go. We've had a couple of players from Slavia Prague come in, both done really well. Sufal and Suchek. The price is the bit that concerns me. It's his first season in professional football. He's 6'2", I think. Senegalese player. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. Slavia Prague bought him for £104,000 and they want reported fees of 20 million. Yeah, he scored eight goals in 14 appearances, I believe, and does look like he's got some ability, but 20 million for a really unknown player for me is concerning.
Yeah.
The other one that we was linked for, but David Gold has since come out and said this is absolute nonsense. He's the guy from Watford. His name escapes me currently. But apparently we tabled a £30 million bid for him, and that's total nonsense. I can't think of his name. I want to say Salah. It's not Salah. Salah. That's the one. Yeah, but that's total nonsense. So that's not going to happen. But I do think they're going to have to bring in somebody. There's rumours that Anderson's loan deal is going to be cut short, but whether he goes back into the squad, I don't know. if he wants to put in an effort, then he has got some quality. But if he don't want to put in the work that's currently being done by some of the players, then why should he go back in there? Personally, I think put Ben Rama up top, play him as a false nine, put Bowen on one side and Fornals or Lanzini on the other. That would be my go-to if Antonio is not fit. Sorry, I jabbered on a bit there about.
No, not at all, mate. And
have you been linked with anyone?
Oh, mate, who haven't we been linked with? Every time I've seen a transfer market or a pop up, we seem to be linked with like every man and his dog. But there's one I've seen for Julian Draxler, and to be honest, I don't know how many seasons or how many transfer windows there have been that we haven't been linked with Julian Draxler. So that's one that's been batting around. There's also a guy from Norwich.
Any Bermuda, something like
that. So he's one that I don't know how credible it is, but I've seen multiple sources where they're talking about him. In terms of outs, we've already seen Saliba go out on loan, just hit a man of the match performance apparently. Also, Kolasinac, Schalke haven't won a game in I don't know how many games. He goes back on loan because that's a former club of his, gone back on loan, and they win 4-0, and he was the captain of Schalke. So, but there's one rumour that seems to be gaining a lot of momentum in terms of outs. Mesut Ozil.
Yes.
We have heard of 2 potential suitors for him going out to, I think it's kind of like DC United or something out in the States, and also Fenerbahce. Now, I do think that the Fenerbahce one is probably more likely. There have been rumours and speculation from Turkish sides, sorry, not from Turkish sides, from the manager of Fenerbahce. He's basically come and said, look, he's a great player, but we can't possibly comment. Mikel Arteta come out and said that discussions are ongoing with the right suitor. If it's good for both clubs, then a deal will be done. But he did post something yesterday with him and his wife talking about drinking Turkish tea. I know he's got that kind of heritage within him. I think it's either his mum or his dad was Turkish. So yeah, it could be off for Mesut Ozil earlier than expected. I know it's something that we've discussed previously about how I think he could be integrated back into the team. He's been the longest, or that he is the longest servant at the club. Personally, I think his last 2 years. I mean, we don't know what goes on outside or inside the clubs, but I personally think he's been treated really poorly. But we've got Emil Smith-Rowe being integrated into the team that seems to be the creative player that we've lacked over the start of the season. So is there a need for him? And we've got Thomas Partey coming back from injury.
Yep. The sticking point for me on that Ozil deal, from what I've read and I've seen, is that he still wants to be paid the rest of his contract. So I mean, it's a lot of money, isn't it? Because he's on what, £350,000 a week.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure how this works, because some reports I've seen is that he's on like an uplift. So his basic would be like, just as an example, his basic would be 200 grand.
Yeah.
And then if he plays, then he gets an uplift up to the
right. Okay.
The full amount. But I don't know.
Yeah, which would make sense as to why they've not registered him for any competitions, if that's the case. So that would make sense. But even so, 200 grand a week for the next 8 months is still a long time, and a lot of money. So if that's the case, because he can, for example, Fenerbahce come in, they can actually discuss a contract with him because he's out of contract, isn't he, in the summer? So they can discuss a contract with him and get him for free at the end of the year. Which, if you're Ozil at this point, do you not go, well, don't pay them anything, they'll pay me, and I'll then come in the summer?
Massive sign-on bonus.
Yeah. Instead of paying them, pay me. But that's the sticking point. I think I've also read that Arsenal are trying to get him to agree a deal and receive what he's owed over the next 3 years, to pay him longer term, which doesn't really make sense to me, because you've got to pay him the same amount of money regardless. Why not just get it done in one hit rather than spread it out? But the other one that has been heavily linked with that as a sort of domino effect is bringing Aaron Ramsey back on loan.
I have seen rumours about that transfer, and I've got to be honest, I would absolutely fucking love that transfer to go through. But apparently, I have seen some other sources say that that discussion was completely bullshit, and it is not going to happen. But we don't know. Unfortunately, the transfer market is so unpredictable, sometimes predictable. But I personally don't see that happening.
No. But say stranger things have happened, haven't they? I mean, who anticipated Falcao going to Manchester United on that deadline day that couple of years ago?
Yeah. Or Ibrahimovic.
Or Ibrahimovic, yeah. Or even Adebayor going to everywhere, playing for everyone. Yeah, so that's interesting.
That's transfers.
Yeah.
Transfers done.
We've had. I can't give you a one good, one bad. You may be able to. Obviously, my game is yet to play. Actually, no, I can give you one good, one bad. One good, we've got rid of Haller. One bad, we got rid of Snodgrass. There you go.
Well done. Good one. I didn't think you'd be able to get any.
No. Well, I think he will. Snodgrass will do well for West Brom. I do like him as a player. Unfortunately, he's gone. He was a big, not ego, a big personality in the dressing room. From what everyone said, he was always laughing and joking and keeping everyone in high spirits. So I think that could be a loss potentially. But if it frees up room to either bring through a youngster or to get in somebody, then can't be too sad about it.
Yeah, exactly. And you get a bit of money. We get a bit of money from him as
well?
Yeah,
we sold him for, I think it's an undisclosed fee. I don't think it's a huge fee. Right. But they got something for him. So I think he was out of contract in the summer as well.
Oh, fair enough.
So, yeah. Sort of made sense to happen.
So my one good, one bad. One good, one bad. One good, that we won the game.
Yep.
And I did call it, didn't I? I said last week, I think it's going to be a rotated squad. We'll see the likes of Willian and or Pepe back into the team. They were both terrible. And it took some substitutions in order to get that. The one bad is not what I think you would expect it to be. It's Martinelli picking up an injury just before the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some report, or I saw he was booted up on Saturday with some big boot thing on with ice and all that sort of stuff. But apparently he was in a lot of pain on Saturday, was slightly better yesterday, and I have read the press conference that they won't know at the extent of the injury until tomorrow. So the one bad is Martinelli getting his injury. I hope he gets better very quickly, because he is definitely a presence when he's in the team. I know he's had a couple of games out recently just because of, I'm assuming, squad rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he will be missed, and a speedy recovery to him.
Yeah. Do you know what frustrated me about that game? Is it Newcastle Newcastle should have won 1-0 and given me 3 points. But they just couldn't score, and that chance was literally last gasp chance. I was like, yeah, I've done it, and then they fucked it up.
Yeah.
At that point, I was hoping it was going to go to penalties, because you're like, well, it's gone to extra time. It's been a boring game. Let's have penalties, a bit of excitement. But
top trumps, mate.
Yeah.
Pulled out of the bag. No, and I, to be honest, I did expect a very difficult game from them because, I mean, I said it in my preview, and if you haven't already, as Ian said earlier, we do have our weekly previews coming for the upcoming fixtures, so go check them out. Yeah, for that game, I did put in my preview that I thought it was going to be a really tough game, on the basis that they've pulled out some big fixtures recently against the likes of Liverpool, drew against Liverpool just after Christmas or just before Christmas. I think it was just after. And I think they were trying to sit back and catch us on the counter attack. I've got to say, the man of the match performance was given to Emile Smith-Rowe on Sky Sports. BBC. But for me, I've got to say this. I think the man of the match my man of the match was Andy Carroll. I thought it was absolutely brilliant and was unlucky not to score, as you say.
Yeah, I think he wasn't outstanding, but he was certainly one of the better players on the pitch. There weren't many players worth mentioning on the pitch. I do think but when Emile Smith-Rowe came on, it changed the game. And that's what we've been saying. The first team who are on the big money are playing second fiddle to the youngsters who want to play football and make a name for themselves. And fair play to them.
There's a couple of people that I do think something needs to happen with them. Eddie Nketiah, I do think possibly needs a loan spell because he does need games. Reece Nelson was a player I was very disappointed with. He has had moments of brilliance previously, but for me personally, I don't know if he is. This sounds really harsh, but I don't think he's good enough to play for us just yet. And that may be just purely down to the fact that he's not getting a regular run of games in the squad. I think he's played quite well in the Europa League, but there are times where he should pass when he shoots and should shoot when he passes, and sometimes it goes a little bit tits up. But he's still young. Get him out on a loan spell, and I think he will do all right. But Willian and Pepe, they were absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know what's happened with either player. And maybe that I know you have said this before about previously getting the or not understanding the training methods of the coach for Willian, but he's just a shadow of his former self. We're stuck with him for another 2 years.
But he's gone there to retire. He's on the big money, which is what Chelsea said, we'll give you that, but only for a year. And he's obviously got a plan in place that he needs to have that money for this amount of time, and then I can retire. And Arsenal went, yeah. And you would have thought that you would have learned when it went a little bit wrong with Ozil. That don't bring him in on big money. You brought in Willian, it went wrong. Well, it looks to have gone wrong. It may still go right, but he's had one good performance, hasn't he? Against that. And that was against a Fulham team who weren't up to scratch at the time. And then you've done it again with Aubameyang, who since he signed it, been off the ball. And you think, stop making the same mistakes.
Yeah.
Stop making the same mistakes. I would rather have Aubameyang for one more season that scored 30 goals than have him for 3 seasons where he scores 10. That would be my personal thing.
It was good to see him back on the score sheet again.
Yeah.
I know it was a tap in, but I keep saying this. I really hope this is a kind of kick on performance for him, and we've seen it recently that I think one of the biggest mistakes that Unai Emery had was not playing Lacazette and Aubameyang at the same time. Lacazette's hit a great bit of form recently, where his work rate and his finishing has been on point. There have been times recently where it's kind of been one or the other, but they both seem to be gelling together for Lacazette. And I think now that if you were to stick Saka out on the right hand side in that Pepe/Willian role, and then stick Aubameyang out on the left, and then Lacazette up top, or possibly the false number 10 position, possibly. I don't know. But just that front three for the time being, whilst Martinelli's out, I think we're going to be on to a winner.
Yeah. Or do you play almost a 4-4-2, put Emil Smith-Rowe on the left, Saka on the right, and 2 up top. So it's not quite a flat 4-2, but really push your wingers up high.
To be honest, I think we need someone in behind. If you're going to be playing up 2 up top, I think you need someone in the conventional number 10 position, and I don't know how you would pull that off in a 4-4-2.
You wouldn't. You'd have to sacrifice either one of your defensive midfielders, or one of your defenders.
Become effectively like a 4-1-2-1-2 or whatever it is.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but it's a difficult one, and I think he's definitely made that position. Because I know with the likes of Thomas Partey, once he starts coming back, he has said that he wants to go more with a 4-3-3 formation. We did see at the start of the season that we were playing some kind of like 3-5-1-1 formation or whatever it is, but it's definitely been more of a 4-3-3 formation fairly recently, with the 2 fullbacks making the forward runs past the midfielders as well. So Kieran Tierney, what an absolute beauty. But yes, where were we? I've even forgot where we were.
Just waffling, mate. Just waffling. The next thing on the agenda is VAR. So, I not really. The Emil Smith-Rowe one, I think, was correct. I do think that was a yellow. I just feel it was sloppy. It wasn't. There wasn't intent in it. The screen didn't help, but also the speed of it. The speed of it made it look worse. But yeah, I don't think there was any intent. I just think it was a big tackle. They're both running full tilt, and he went for it, and I like to see it personally.
Yeah. I mean, I was gutted had he got sent off. I was going to be gutted for him. I am glad they went to VAR, and you're right. The screen definitely didn't help at all. In a sense, it was kind of. I mean, we don't know what the contact was. It didn't look like there was much contact. And for me, potentially trying to cheat the referee, maybe. I know that sounds really harsh, but
I don't know. I reckon with a little bit of contact, both running at the speed they were, and the fact he ended up going head over heels, it might have been a little bit of rather than a hurt. Like it's like, I don't know. It's hard to tell. But yeah, no, I think it's a yellow and a telling off. Calm it down was the right decision, and it went in your favour in the end. So
yes, yeah. So VAR was definitely my friend on that instance. But I don't know whether you did see it, but the trip on Aubameyang.
Yes, with the crossing over the legs.
Yes, penalty or not?
If it was Liverpool or Manchester United, it would have been given as a penalty. I don't. Again, I think it was sloppy. Certainly, I don't think there was intent to trip him up. I think that was just being bamboozled and trying to figure out where your feet are going, and not knowing really where you are. So it's difficult when it was contact. So by letter of the law, it should have been a penalty because he did bring him down in the box. But was there intent? I don't think so.
Okay.
The one that I was surprised they didn't look at, and you may not recall it was just after half time, a tackle from El Neni. And it didn't even get blown up for a foul, but I thought, that's naughty. It was when they showed a replay of it, it was high, it was almost 2-footed, and it was clumsy. And I think that was just because of where it restarted and Newcastle come flying out the gates. It was one of those, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this. But I thought he may have been slightly lucky not to have had a review on that.
Okay, I am going to play my best Arsene Wenger impression here.
I did not see it. But say it was one of the ref just waved it off as if nothing's happened. I personally think if it had gone to VAR, it would have been a yellow. If he'd sent him off, I think it would have been a yellow. But I did think he was lucky to get away with nothing. and not even giving away a foul.
There's been a couple of challenges he's been a little bit fortunate with. We did see with a couple of weeks ago with the hand around the face or whatever, that should have been, well, with the fact that Granit Xhaka was sent off, I think the week before. No, it was the same game, wasn't it?
Same game.
It was the same game.
Yeah.
That he's been a little bit fortunate. I think it's because
he has got quality, hasn't he? And I do like him. He does do that job reasonably well, but he just, a bit like David Luiz, he has moments where all sense and ability go out the window, and it's just, oh shit, I'm just going to lunge at this. And just, I don't know whether that's just because he's out of position or just a lapse in concentration momentarily. And then after it happened, it seems to go back to normal, and he's that solid, calm, collected player again.
Yeah. Who knows? To be honest, I have seen recently he has been getting a bit of stick from, I think, both players and the bench. Not to the point where he shouldn't be used, but there's a couple of times that he's made the wrong decision.
Yep.
And I think it's starting to potentially get to him, but also get on the players for being a little bit too negative sometimes, always trying to play. I think what he's trying to do, if I'm being completely honest, is trying to keep the game moving and trying to keep possession by playing the safe pass.
Yep.
Now, for the most part, yes, I agree. It's better to be in possession than out of possession, but at the same time, you need to be a little bit more adventurous. I think that goes for a lot of people within the Arsenal team.
The trouble is with that, when I know exactly what you mean, and you do like seeing like maybe those big adventurous cross ball or cross pitch balls and just piercing balls forward. But when you look at the way you were playing, like the likes of Willian and Pepe, their movement has been shite, hasn't it? So where do I put that? His job is win the ball and recycle it. So maybe that needs to be a bit more punchy, a bit quicker, and possibly if it is quicker, he will be able to put a forward pass in. But I think some of that relies on better movement from some of the players around him.
And I think that's where the youngsters are shining at the moment, because we've seen with the few select changes within the team, we're scoring more goals, we're creating more chances, whereas Willian seems to be the run it forward and then play it back, or run it forward, get tackled, or run it forward and play the worst pass I've ever seen in my life kind of mentality. And the same with Pepe. Pepe has been so hit and miss over his Arsenal career, and again, it's not one that as soon as he starts banging goals in, I love him, because I'll hold my hands up, and I've said this on so many podcasts. It's great to see him on the score sheet, or it's great to see him with an assist, but he's just been so inconsistent. And again, he's pretty much an identical problem, that there are times that he doesn't give the ball when he should and shoots when he should. Do you know what I mean? Or doesn't shoot when he should.
Yeah, it's the sort of mistakes you would expect someone like Emile Smith-Rowe or Saka to make just through pure inexperience. The bit that gets me with those two players, and I know we're hounded on Arsenal again a little bit this week, is if one of the youngsters lose the ball, they're prepared to track back and win it back as soon as possible. And that's what you see. It's that I want the ball back. I don't want to be mugged off by being tackled. Where if Willian or Pepe get the ball, they don't chase it. They're just like, someone else will pick that up. And it's that meandering about. And that's what frustrates, as a football fan, doesn't matter what game I'm playing. If I'm a neutral in the game, I want to see people running their arts out to win the ball back. Regardless of where who I want to win, I want to see a good, entertaining game.
Absolutely.
But yeah, right. Predictions.
Yes.
Predictions on my haircut changing again.
Yes, I did.
100%. The mohawk is back temporarily. Who knows how long it will last?
We'll see.
What?
We'll see. I've gone for the inverted.
The monk.
the Father Michael.
Yeah.
Right, so we have gone for sorry, just catching up on last week's fixtures. Obviously, we've got a couple of games that we were looking out for: Arsenal, Newcastle, West Ham, Stockport, and then Southend versus, I can't remember their bloody names. Sorry, excuse me.
Someone else who was a couple of places above them. I didn't even look at the result. I forgot we had done that one, to be fair.
That's fine. I can find it very good. Barrow,
that's it.
So yes, we've only got the 2 games we can update, and it's kind of like the dubious goals committee. I'm going to ask your opinion on something. So, Arsenal versus Newcastle. I had you down as a 2-1 to Arsenal. No, 2-1 to Newcastle. Sorry.
Yep.
And I had Arsenal 1-1, but to win on penalties. So it was a draw at the end of 90 minutes, but we did win in extra time. So
who won the game? Arsenal
did.
That's what it goes down as, I think.
Okay, cool. That's fine. So neither of us get any points.
Yeah.
West Ham Stockport game to be played later on this evening, so we can't have the update on that one. And then Southend versus Barrow. You had Barrow down as a 1-0 to Barrow, and I had a 1-1 draw. The score was 1-0 to Southend.
Bloody hell.
So that's a grand total of fuck all points.
Right, here's the thing, right? Southend
So
have lost every single game pretty much this season. The one game we go, right, let's have a look at it, they win.
Yeah, it went to me this week, I'm afraid.
Now maybe we need to think they're going to only get a point maximum between us every week, and they might do all right.
Yeah.
So
that brings us nicely on to this week's fixtures. We've got a bit of fixture congestion this week. So Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, West Ham versus Burnley, and then on the Monday we've got Arsenal versus Newcastle. So the fixture on Thursday sees Arsenal at home to Crystal Palace. I'll go first just because it's my team. Arsenal have climbed the board, as we mentioned in the last video, currently sitting 3 points behind West Ham United. Crystal Palace in 14th. We have, I think, a bit of a difficult fixture against Crystal Palace. They've got some good goal scorers. I think it's going to be a tough one. They're only a point behind us. And but our recent form, 4 wins on the bounce now, 3 in the Premier League. We're playing at home. It's nice to see a bit of home dominance again. I am going to put us down for a 2-1 win on that one because I do think it's going to be a close.
I think the fact that Crystal Palace played 2 days before you will come into it through the fact of just being able to rest with the amount of fixtures coming in and out. The other factor for me is the FA are looking into Eberici Aziz, the exciting attacking midfielder for Palace, who turned up at his old club, Crystal Palace, QPR. Did a test beforehand, allegedly went as a guest, but no one has any record of anything. Obviously, QPR will get in trouble for it if they did invite him because he doesn't need to be there. So they're denying all knowledge of it. But if he's sanctioned to get some sort of ban for breaking protocol, then potentially a different outcome. But I think the 2 days rest will come into it. They have got the ability to score some good goals. I'm actually going to go 2-2.
Okay.
For that game. I mean, I think you're either going to win or draw. I can't see a Palace win. But yeah, I'm going to sit on the fence 2-2 score draw.
Yeah, no worries. So the next game is your boys, West Ham versus Burnley.
It is. Always a difficult game, Burnley. No one likes to go and play at Burnley, even though they're coming to us. They've got some of their key players back now, which they didn't have at the beginning of the season. Likes of Tarkowski, the likes of Pope and Ben Mee. So they are hard to break down. Obviously, Chris Wood up front, Ashley Barnes. We've got an Ogbonna, so that sort of nullifies that. It's going to be a very hard-fought game, I think. And the fact that we've sold Haller gives me confidence that they believe Antonio is back and ready to go. Otherwise, that leaves us with 0 strikers. So I'm going to go 2-1 to West Ham. The Claret and Blues are going to win.
I don't, to be honest, mate, I don't think there's much more to you've just said. However, I'm going to go for a slightly bigger scoreline just for the sake of possibly getting more points than you at the end of the week. So I'm going to go for West Ham 3, Burnley 1.
Oh, in fairness, that's what I was going to go with, but I was like, no, I think it would be a little harder.
Conservative.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to smash Stockport 18-0, so...
All right, so the last game, which is on the Monday night, is Arsenal versus Newcastle. I think there'll be a slightly changed starting team for that particular game. As I said, we've got the likes of Thomas Partey coming back from injury.
Yeah.
We have who else? Obviously Martinelli out, as we discussed earlier. But I think we will start that game with the team that ended up finishing that game. So we'll see Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, Lacazette, Aubameyang. The only ones I'm a little bit unsure about on this particular game is, and I say this with a degree of, it's a nice problem to have, Pablo Mari or Gabriel Magalhaes. So Gabriel, the new boy from Brazil that came in at the start of this season, started off in very fine form. Has just coming back from COVID protocols.
Yep.
Has apparently been suffering with it. But Pablo Mari has kind of picked up the torch and run with it over the last few games. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Rob Holding, I think, will reclaim his starting position in the Premier League. Obviously, injury permitting. But I think it's going to be a tough game again. But I think we will, if we start with the team that we finished with, I think we'll probably get the same result. So I'm going to go for an Arsenal 2-0 win.
Okay. I'm going to back the Geordies on this one again. I do think that the amount of fixtures you're playing will have an effect. They're even though the last one was poor, as we see in the FA Cup, it was still at 120 minutes of football that you've played. Some of the players that you did play may come back into it just through squad rotation, and they were lacklustre to say at best. St Maximin allegedly is almost ready to be back. He's recovering from having COVID. I think if he can make that team, then it's a different result. And I still see him getting a goal with the youngsters playing, but I'm going to go 2-1 to Newcastle.
Okay.
I think he has that star quality and ability and speed just to catch you out, and it only takes a moment, as we seen the other day.
I think the issue that they have, just to kind of bash on Newcastle a little bit, I'm not saying that they haven't got goal scorers in their team, because they obviously have. Their league position doesn't lie. They have scored goals. However, with the likes of St Maximin, Joe Linton, Almiron, me personally, I mean, I've seen it on quite a few occasions where they have been in goal scoring positions but not actually finished.
Yeah,
there was that chance. I remember this may be going back a season or last season now. St Maximin absolutely threw on goal. No one could catch him for pace and come up one-on-one against the keeper and blasted it straight at the keeper.
Yeah.
So I mean, they do have goals within them, but I don't think
they're not as clinical as they need to be a top Premier League team. And I make you right with that. I do make you right with that. I just feel like the amount of fixtures you're playing in a very short space of time. I mean, Christmas was busy as well. I just think it's horrible weather out there as well. It's cold, and I just feel that will take a little bit of a toll.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out our previews. As I said, they do come out before the games. Keegan's absolutely smashed it with the last one.
The next one's coming out. Well, as already out.
Okay.
It's going out for kickoff against Stockport. Get the search terms. Get the search terms.
Make sure you check those out. Obviously, check out our videos, as Ian said, this week for the fitness challenge. Ian, have you got anything else you want to discuss?
When we run a poll at the end of it, one, make sure you do vote as to who the loser is, and two, make sure you vote for me. No, I don't want to be voted as a loser. I want to be voted as a winner. But you know what I mean. No, if you haven't already and you do enjoy what we're doing, then get in touch. Twitter handles are in the description if you're listening audio, or if you're watching, they're below us. They're always in the description as well. Join the conversation. That's what we're after. We're after discussion. We like football discussion, or discussion about anything really. As long as it's waffle, then we're in. Nothing else from me other than hopefully we sign a striker soon.
Yes, I think we need to. We do need to arrange possibly a watch along soon, because I know a couple of people have commented on the YouTubes saying that they have enjoyed our watch along, so we need to get one of those booked in. And also, we've got transfer talk coming weekly whilst the transfer window is open.
Yeah.
If there's anything that you do like about the channel, please leave it in the comments. Likewise, if there's nothing, if there's something that you don't like, please also let us know, because obviously we want to make it as best for everyone available. We'll take the criticism on board.
Yeah, we like constructive criticism, provided it's not "you're a dickhead, mate." Because we've had a few of them. We know.
That's why we do it.
Yeah, that's not news. That's not.
But
yeah, that's us. We stop waffling now.
Yeah,
we'll see you next week for the podcast again.
Lovely stuff. Thanks very much.
Love you. Bye. I'm Ian.